Welcome to Catalyst Conversations, the podcast where we spark powerful change in women's wealth. I'm Hadriana Leo, a wealth coach, counselor, and strategist, and each week we dive into the conversations, strategies, and stories that help women confidently create the life they've always dreamed of. In this space, we bring together the wisdom of people from all walks of life who are ready to break free from the cycle of financial stress and build lasting wealth. From interviews with inspiring people, to deep dives into money mindset, to practical tips for achieving financial freedom, you'll find it all here. Together, we'll unlock the mindset, tools, and strategies that empower you to step into your financial power. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're a loyal listener, we're here to support your wealth journey. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get started on transforming your relationship with money. This is Catalyst Conversations, igniting change in women's wealth. Let's spark the conversation. Hey everyone, it is my absolute pleasure to be sitting across from the one, the only Hope Felix. Okay, I have a personal story to tell you about Hope, but not just yet, because I'm going to give her time to set herself up for this. But when I asked Hope for a personal motto, here's what she said. No one left behind. Health is for all, and we are all significant and unique. Okay, these are like power statements, like bam, bam, bam. Each time, each one that I read, like no one left behind. Health is for all. Like we're ready to take down pharma. Never mind. And we are all significant and unique. Hope, tell me why you chose these statements.
I'm going to say just because they're true. Number one, you want to talk about hard facts? Everybody's important. Everybody, no one should be left behind. There's no one who's insignificant. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story, and everybody should have great health. It
Yes.
should be accessible to everybody, and it should not have to be an either or, but it should just be.
Yeah.
So,
It's like a universal right. It's
yeah,
not something that you need to afford
right.
or qualify for or prove yourself worthy of. It's a basic human right. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Miss Felix called herself a body work specialist. Did I get it?
Yes, you did.
Bodywork specialist. And I'll tell you straight, she could well be a miracle worker on this planet, because my personal experience with Hope's work has shown me that yes, health can be equal opportunity, universal, and it's not what you pay, it's what we are willing to invest in ourselves, not money, but a mindset committed, combined with action. So, Miss Felix, I am your number one fan. I'm the Hope fan club president over here. But please tell the audience about the work that you do. Yeah, tell them, why am I so all Google Gaga about you?
Well, Hope Inspired Fitness is a business I created not a couple of years ago. It was 2015, really. I used to work full time for a dental corporation. My side passion was health and fitness, more selfishly for myself first before it became anything for anybody else. but I know within my family history, there is diabetes, there is high blood pressure, and other things like that.
Mhm.
And so I saw my dad having to go on insulin shots, and my grandmother used to suffer from high blood pressure. And just knowing those things and just seeing how their body took a toll and it didn't feel good for them, and having the conscious mind to be like, what? These things are important. And back then, it used to be it's hereditary, it's hereditary, it's hereditary, right?
Right.
For me, I was just like, I don't care if you say it's hereditary. I want to beat the odds. So
Right.
it was a matter of what can I do for myself to beat the odds? There was a few years after that, actually before that, I should say before 2015, that I had a little bout of depression, and
Okay.
I put on an extensive amount of weight, and
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. And you're just kind of just hiding and hoping that everything will go away type of thing.
Yeah. Mm.
Luckily, I didn't stay that way. Praise God, I had a young son at that point in time. I had to take him out. I had to do things with him. And as I was doing that, and then especially like in the winter times, there's sad, right? There's a lot of
Yes.
people who suffer from depression, seasonal, right? And so as we're getting into the spring, it was almost like I was being sprung. I would call it like that.
Yeah.
It was almost like that, you know what? You're not, you're created for more. It was just one of those things. You're created for more. You need to do more. What are the things that you loved? I loved working out. I loved going to the gym. And then it was like, you need to do those things. So I actually put myself on a regimen for myself,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that time I was working my 9 to 5. After I would pick up my son from school, I would go straight to the gym. Thankfully, at that time, they had a daycare there. So I put him in the daycare, go do my hour routine, and then come back and then, do the rest. But just in doing that, I went from not feeling as good and confident about myself to feeling good and confident, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
choosing to kind of incorporate that in my life. So that's what I did. And then around 2011, between 2011 and 2015, I started working for different what's it called, gyms, different gyms.
Yeah.
And how I got to doing that, it was I loved working out at that point in time. Happy go lucky, always in the front of the class because I want my workout. I don't care about anybody else. I want my workout, right? So I would always be in the front, just concentrating on instructor, what I gotta do, right? But also having that energy. So the instructor came to me one day and she's like, "You should teach." I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
Uh-huh.
Your energy when you're in the class, everybody's just like feeds off of you. You should teach. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. She's like, you could get paid. I was like, okay.
Ding.
Right. And so she's like, go get this, go get that. And I was like, okay. And I did. So I went and got my certification. And then I came back and I was doing my class and she's like, did you do the certification? And I was like, yeah. She's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I'm telling you, right? And right then and there, she put me to instruct the class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then it was just like, what? You know? But luckily she was nice enough to say, okay, you're only doing this segment. So then I did that segment. And then the next
Mhm.
time I came, she's like, okay, now you're going to do this segment. And she kind of trained me. Let's just say that. And then one day we were
Right.
having way too much fun and she broke her Achilles heel.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then it became my classes. So that's the journey of how it started. But as I was
Mhm.
doing that, growing classes, most of the gyms that I went to, a lot of people didn't know me, so I would have to grow my class. But I'm going to say praise God. I hope I can say that here.
By all means.
All right, praise God. All of my classes grew. So, like, I would go from a class that would have maybe one, two people to a class that had 40 individuals. One
Mhm.
gym I was at, I had a class of 60. When
Wow.
I just before COVID started, I was in the Markham gyms, the
Yeah.
centers, and my class was so big. that we had to do it in the gym. Uh,
Wow.
and so this was just before COVID. I'd say there's about 60, 70 people within the gym, and we're having a great time. So this is the reason why I say a fitness for everybody, because most of the classes that I didn't go too high impact. I didn't go too
Mhm.
low. It was always challenging, always with a smile on the face, and always saying, you can do it, right?
Right,
And
right.
so I think that was like, because I know for myself, I needed that. That's what I want to give to others. I
Right.
want you to know that as challenging as it is, choose your heart and do it to the best you can, because only you can do it for yourself.
Yep.
And so I love this field. I love what I'm doing. I love the fact that there's lots of testimonies along the way.
Mhm.
And I'm just an instrument. I'm a tool, that can help others to get where they need to go.
Yeah. And I think beyond that, you love it. Like you love it, and it shows as you are instructing, as you're guiding. It doesn't, you can't help but want some of what Hope's got, right? Because then it's contagious. I remember, so one of the sessions I had with Hope, trust me, this long story, but I told her something was hurting, and she's like, just shake yourself. I'm like, huh? Like, just shake yourself. And she showed me how to like, shake myself. I'm like, oh my gosh. She's like, shake yourself and drop down. I'm like, oh my God. It's so contagious. But the whole reason why I felt that you were doing it was, yes, you enjoy it, but you wanted wellness for me. And when you have a cheerleader like that, you can't help but back yourself. I mean, like, if Hope's gonna cheer for me like that, listen, I have no doubt your classes were jammed because the way you instruct, the way you guide and share, it just follows that people are gonna want to be part of it. And I think that also lends to the way that you are now kind of expanding your body work services, because you're now not just offering like physical explorations, you're also helping clients to explore what's happening between the ears. So tell us a little bit about that work that you're doing.
Sure. So COVID happens, no longer working at the gym. I went online to teach classes online in the morning.
Mhm.
But after doing that for 2 years, it's not as, I wasn't as enthusiastic.
Yeah, you're not getting the same
I'm
feedback,
not getting the
right?
feedback. You know what? I was getting the feedback, but not the way it feels when you're in a class. So like
Yes, fair.
online, at one location, I still had 78 people. But the
Yes.
thing is, 78 people, black screens. Like
Oh, right.
little boxes of black screens. It didn't feel the same.
Right.
Um, but I was grateful because yes, I was still helping out people, but I felt like I was the entertainer. Come
Yep,
on,
yeah.
guys, let's do this. And I'm just looking at myself going, okay, are they following? Are they sitting on their couch eating popcorn? I don't know.
I know.
But again, I know there are people who still call me and say, can you do that again? Maybe we'll see. But
Right.
for now, while we went into that hall, it was almost like, what else can I do? Right.
Mhm.
And I've always backstory, but not too far back. Long story, but not so long. I started doing psychology when my oldest son was in elementary school,
Mhm.
but I was sending him to a private school and trying to school myself and trying to work full time. It just became
Wow.
too much. And I had to choose either he's going to get the private school education or I'm going to go to university. And I
Right.
chose for him more than me. So I wanted him because I was like, you had your opportunity, you messed it up. You can't take away his because I was
That's
like,
fair.
do his thing. And then when time comes, you'll do yours. But of course, the years pass by And so I started it, but didn't finish it. And all these years, it's been like, oh, I wish I finished it. Oh, I wish I finished my schooling. It came to a point where I was talking to a friend, and
Mhm.
man, I wish I could. And this gentleman was like, so do it. And I was just like, do
Yeah.
you understand? I have this, I have that, I have bills, I have blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no disrespect, but I've known you for a long time and you've been talking about this for a long time. He's like,
Mhm.
the more years that pass, the more years you're going to talk about it instead of doing it. Just do
Yeah.
it. And I was just like, it's just like that woman who said, go and, it's almost like those commands that you get, and you're just like, okay, God, is that you? Okay, do it.
Uh-huh.
So I went and I finished my bachelor's for psychology.
What?
I finished that May of this year.
Uh-huh.
And then I want to do counseling. I want to fuse my fitness with the mind body because I know that they work together in so many different ways. And so, because I wanted to do this and I want to be able to help people on a bigger scale, uh,
Mhm.
in this society, we need letters behind our name to get the fundings, to get everything that we need.
Yeah.
And so I am still continuing on. And now I'm pursuing my master's in counseling and psychology. Because once I'm done, then I will teach this mind body approach that I've
Mhm.
been doing already. But now I'll be able to get more backative, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
and if I am going for funding or if I'm looking to partner with anyone. I just want to be able to be accessible to more people, whether
Yeah.
it's because they don't have the finances to do it on their own, but they do have insurance coverage, then we
Right.
can explore that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be one of those things where some people will start with me and then it becomes financially burdensome, then they have to
Mhm.
stop mid-program, right?
Right.
I want you to continue it. And I've made a way, and you got to testify for this, where my program is not as long as it used to be. It's shorter,
Right.
but I don't know if I would call it intense, but I would call it intentional. Uh,
Yes.
our 42-day unstoppable, that's what I've put together as a 42-day challenge for yourself. It's done marvelous things.
It has done marvelous things. You know what? I'm jumping up and down here because I was part of that 42 unstoppable 42. I call it my nutrition reset. And the results for me are like beyond. I can tell you honestly, I've spent tons more money on many other things. And in this short 6 week span, working with the unstoppable Hope Felix, not only has my body changed, but my mind has changed. And I think that's testament to the fact that when mind and body align, the results flow. That's I am so excited about what is going to happen when you are credentialed because you're doing all of this based on research, yes, and some intuition, I believe, some guidance. You know, by the time you take in all the other things, Hope, imagine the people who will now say, oh, she is a credentialed professional. Let me come see what she's doing and try it. One of the things I remembered saying to you not long ago is that even though a person is skeptical, like I was, because I said I tried all these other things, there has to be just that tiny bit of belief or trust or hope that this is going to work. And I think with the work that you're doing, it's really inspiring people because that tiny bit of belief can grow. And I'm really excited for what's to come. Okay, so one of the things you say, let me make sure I say it properly. Many are willing, but only a few are able. Why is that? Because I remember your mantra statements. But I'm guessing you're thinking many are willing to get healthy, but only a few are able. You tell me where you're going with this.
Oh, that's so big. We've been told many stories.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been told many stories, to get healthy, it does require time, but
Yes.
it doesn't require as much time as people think,
Truth.
right? It requires patience because you do have to trust the process. It requires you to put away everything that you've learned,
Yes.
everything that every other trainer or doctor has said to you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's allowing you to trust your own body. A lot of people don't trust their body. Because they don't trust their body, they can't trust the process. And sometimes we just give up. So
Mm-hmm.
if something's not working for you immediately, because we are now in this season, in this time in life where it's instant gratification, if
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work instantly for you, then you give up,
Right.
right? To know that this program that you just went through was just 42 days. I'm
Yes.
just asking you for 42 days of trusting me and knowing that you're going to have noise all around you, but you're going to
Mm-hmm.
hone in for those 42 days. A
Yes.
lot of people are like, oh, I can do that. But
Yep.
when you get into the nitty gritty and you have people chattering in your ears, you have assignments to do, you have a workload, you have children, you have this, you have that, then it's all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, this is too much.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this, right? And it's almost like, well, the question is, you can't or you won't.
Or you won't. Powerful, powerful question there, because part of it is us leaning into that programming, leaning into what we've been told we could do, or what we've been told we can't do, what we've been told we can trust. In all honesty, though, your comment about learning to trust your body, that in and of itself is a gigantic thought, because I don't know that I even know what my body's saying. I haven't tuned in to listen to my body. Well, definitely not in the way that I have in the last 42-day challenge. But how do I learn to trust my body?
And that's the issue, right? Because the issue is words are powerful. Words are a double-edged sword. We can
Hmm.
speak words of encouragement or we can speak words to tear down, right? The first thing that we do is we tear down our body
Mm.
at every moment we got. Oh,
Yeah.
look at me, da da da. You'll always find some fault. It doesn't matter. You could have like the perfect body.
Yes.
Each person will find a fault with that perfect body. I could look at your body, but man, I wish I had, and you'd be like, do you not know what it, I wish I, I used to say to myself all the time, I wish I was this, to me, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I looked better because I want to look like a personal trainer. And it's almost like what says that you don't. To me, I feel like I don't because I have muscles popping and I'm not the same
Right.
with the 28 waist. Girl, God didn't make me that way. Thank you, God, because I'd probably be naked everywhere. He knows why he put me in the body that I. He's like, you calm down. You be for everybody because you're not just, you'd be
You know
like
what?
that.
I'm sticking a pin right there, because if Hope does not look like a personal trainer, I challenge you to take her on at the gym.
Yes,
Let's go.
absolutely.
But you're right. The way our minds have been programmed, it's to seek out faults. And we are not kind to ourselves
You're
when
not.
we look at our bodies, when we attach certain stories to what it must mean for us to look a certain way. And these are not stories that our bodies are reinforcing. Our bodies are telling us, you're strong, you're resilient, you are beautiful, you can function well. But instead, we're saying, but I have extra this here, and my knees creak or what have you, instead of looking at how beautifully our bodies are sustaining us. I mean, what's there to complain about?
Right. But we've learned we live in a society of complaining, and
Yeah,
we live in a society of critiquing our own selves and critiquing the world. And then we've been mentally programmed to do certain things. Like, example, breakfast. What does breakfast look like? Or a lot of people will say, I don't eat breakfast. I can't have breakfast. My stomach can't handle breakfast.
right,
I have to wait until noon. Well, yeah, you have to wait till noon because your last meal is so late in the night, then you don't have the proper sleep, and then you wake up and your body is not restored. If your body's not restored, you're not going to be hungry. If you're not going
right.
to be hungry, you're not going to eat. Then you have the broken down cycle, right? Fat doesn't make you fat. Carbohydrates and heavy carbohydrates make you fat. But a lot
How?
of people will say fat makes me fat. No, fat can be burnt. Carbohydrates, that's something else. All the processed food that we eat, that's something else. All the chemicals that they put in the food that we eat, that's something else. I don't got time to cook food, Hope. I have to go buy. Do you have to go buy? Go buy some
Yeah.
fresh vegetables. I don't have time. They don't taste good. They don't taste good. You're absolutely right. Our tongues have been manufactured to taste sugar, to taste salt, and to taste the chemicals that they have made, that they have put thousands, trillions of dollars to tricking your taste buds to be like, this is good for you.
Yeah, and then they make an ad that says, bet you can't eat just one. Well, of course I can't eat just one because you set that thing up. So I eat 5,000 in one sitting and then I'm only halfway through the movie. What am I supposed to do? Get more?
Or you set up the 100-calorie packs,
Oh,
but who
Lord.
eats just one of those packs? You're going to eat five of them. And it's like, oh, it's just 100 calories. 5 packs later, that's 500 calories.
Yeah,
So those are the things that's where that mind concept comes in. That's why I want that mind and body approach.
yeah,
I've worked on many people before who've lost weight and then they gain it back. And then they
yeah,
lose weight, they gain it back. Why? Why? That's not just because your body is doing that. Your mind is creating that pathway to put you back there. Once you start going on that process of, I'm fearing that this is going to happen. I can't do this anymore. This is too hard. I don't have time for this anymore. Every I statement that I just said is
mhm,
like adding a pound, 2,
yeah,
4. So it's almost like, how do we learn? And this is the reason why you kind of need people like me. How do you relearn to treat your body well? How do
yeah,
you learn to have forgiveness for your body? How do you learn to have forgiveness for others? How do you learn to forgive your past? How do
mhm,
you learn to not hold on to the grief, the pain, the burdens of yesterday? How can you release that and
yeah,
have the freedom to grow and to let your body manifest what's been hidden inside of you? That's pretty much that's my juice. That's my, God, I want this for others. I want someone to experience feeling relieved,
yeah.
feeling I can do this, feeling because not only, okay, forget about the weight thing. The weight
Mhm,
is just a bonus.
yeah,
It's just a bonus.
yeah,
But everything else that you're learning in between, debunking all the beliefs that you have, debunking all of those things. Can I share one that we
yeah,
talked about it in regards to even fasting, right? It was just like, I can't do that. I've
yeah,
tried it before, it doesn't work, right? And then
yeah,
it's like, well, you can't just you no, you can't just jump onto it and think it's going to work. You got to train your body to be prepared to be able to get there. Once you train your body to get there, then it's not a problem like it used to be in the past. But
right.
again, thank you for trusting me to go through that process, because I know there's fear factors in there.
Yeah.
There's the thoughts of what happened yesterday in there, and there's the apprehension, right? The apprehension is, what if I do this and I trust this crazy girl and
I know.
it doesn't work? And on top of that, there's a consequence, right?
Mhm.
For everything that we do, there's a consequence. The consequence is good, bad, indifferent, but for every action, there's a reaction. And
Right.
knowing how to do it properly, knowing how to do it intentionally, knowing how to do it uh, with the right guidance, it makes a difference. And
Yeah.
so, sorry, I can talk forever.
Oh, I know. And to be honest, I mean, our conversation for this episode is just going to touch the surface. I mean, there's so many things you said here that we can deep dive into. I'll share from me personally that fear was a factor. I think because of my coaching experience, I was able to reach out to Hope and say, okay, I'm feeling this way. And in theory, I know what's going on, but I don't want to be feeling this way. What can I do? And then we created a strategy that's going to, help me address that. But I think it's important to share, Hope, that any program or any service that you were offering, it is not actually about perfection. It's not about sticking to the letter of the law. In fact, it's not even about a law necessarily. I think one of the great things that I really valued was putting intentionality into the work that we were doing. And I mean, I'll stick a pin here and say Unstoppable 42 is just one program um, of many services that Hope offers. But it was also part of when I came from my reflexology fascia release massage. There was that component of the service that called for intentionality, mindset reshaping, a focus that was not physical, but called for us to go inwards and seek out that result that we're looking for, examine it, hold on to it, sometimes release it because that may not actually be the best outcome of whatever it is that we came in initially to look at. So I don't think it's perfection. I don't think that that's what any of the services call for. The results that you would get are not the result of being perfect in everything. But I think it has more to do with a commitment, a devotion to your wellness, and setting an intention to do your best and explore authentically. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, no one's perfect, right? We live in a world of filters, right?
Yes.
Filtered,
Yep.
everything is adjusted, everything is picture perfect,
Yeah.
right? Which gives us, again, judgment, condemnation towards ourselves, a feeling of inadequacy. Uh,
Mhm.
we thrive, we thrive to impress, right?
Mhm.
And it's almost like, well, you're impressing everybody else, but you're not impressing you. How
Wow.
are you going to live with you? Like I lived a little bit for a little while trying to find this perfection, right? I wanted my body to look a certain way. I wanted this, I wanted that. I looked at the scale, I was just like, oh, I can't believe I'm this amount of weight. I am a fairly, I don't know,
Yeah, baby.
strong,
Yes.
um,
You
high.
fill up a space very well.
Right? When I get on the scale doesn't say, "Oh, you're light." It says, "Oh, girl, you
There's a
got,
lot of
you
goodness
got
in there.
strength." I'll never forget. I went to Jamaica one time, and this man was like, "You look like health and strength." I didn't. I was just like, "What?" I was so insulted. But he was like, oh, you mean you look strong? I'm like, thanks. Anyhow, but to be able to be like, you know what? My scale is not, I'm not the 140 person. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Right.
My hip to waist ratio is great. My blood work is fantastic. My muscle strength is fantastic. I love it.
Hello.
There's certain things about me where I'm just like, girl, at the end of the day, what he said, you're strong, right? I the weight on the scale is not weight of excess fat. My weight on the scale is my excess muscle. And
Right.
it took me forever. It's still a daily struggle and it's a daily fight because the world tells you should be this, and then you're seeing that, and you're just,
Right.
oh, I hate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like, is that making you any less? No. Can you go and run 10 kilometers right now? Yes.
You
Can I
are.
can I go and do, I did what, 240, 250 the other day, of a leg press the other day. This
Girl.
guy looked at me. he had to take
Uh-huh.
he had to take off some of the weights, and I was just like, "You do you, boo." I walked away
Yeah.
confident, but
Yeah,
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 and so, but it's taken me 40 plus odd years to be able to be like, what, you are okay.
yeah.
This is the reason why I'm like, health is for everybody. We are like the flowers of the garden.
Yeah.
We
Mm-hmm.
all look different. We all are shaped different. My thing for myself and the individuals that I work with, if you have to run up a flight of stairs to save a child, can you?
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you need to run to tell somebody to get off the street, can you do that without?
Mm-hmm.
That is my intentionality for people. I want you to be able to trust your body, trust yourself, and be the best version of you. So there's no competition there, right? There's no perfection there. We all fall, we all make mistakes, we all will see that cookie and taste it, right?
Yes.
Carbohydrates, our palates have been spoiled, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say this is the way you have to live your life for the rest of your life. What I tell you is this is the base of what we're putting together.
Right.
You have an off day, go back to basics, right?
Yeah.
You will always have that template that will say, guess what? Today wasn't a good day, but tomorrow can be, right?
Mm.
And here's the thing as well. What we do as individuals, we put things off. We
Oh,
we
yeah.
we put it off. We put it off. We put it off. Put it off. 10 years down the line, kind of like what I did with my schooling, but everything falls into place. Thank you.
Yes.
You put it off, you put it off, you put it off, you put it off. If that person didn't say to me, just go and do it, I would probably still be saying, man, I wish I did da 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 da. But it's almost like stop putting it off and
Yeah.
do the little things you can today, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
What can I do today? What can I do for this meal? What can I do for myself? Can I do? And there's lots of projects that I want to do because I want to be able to do that 5 to 10 minute workout, right? Just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes every day, minus Sabbath, your rest day, or Sunday,
Yeah.
whichever day you choose to rest, right? Minus that rest day, do your work. Just do 10 minutes. That 10 minutes won't be enough for you after a while. You're going to switch. You're going
Yeah.
to go to 15, right? You might go to 20, but you might be like, you know what? I can't stand workouts. 10 minutes is all you got from me. I'm like, okay, get your heart rate up for 10 minutes. Move your
Mm-hmm.
body for 10 minutes every single day. That's all I'm asking from you,
Yes.
minutes. And if you do that for a month or two, I guarantee you see results.
Yeah.
Guarantee. It's not even
Yeah.
a kind of sort of thing. You will see it.
And that's
And
the
it's
thing.
not a matter of shape. It's a matter of strength, ability, agility, mind, body, stimulation, good endorphins. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But
No, but it's true. It's and I know you talk about the all or nothing approach. We feel like we have to, because I was a CrossFitter. I love weight training. I excel at it, kind of like you. I'm packed really nice with muscle. And when I step on the scale, I was just getting more and more disappointed because CrossFit was building great muscle, but the scale was also saying there's great muscle. And I kept not, I hated it. I honestly, I don't like the scale. But through the experience, through what I've learned, I got a scale that gives me more than just mass. I got a scale that helped me see a fuller picture. And that was very helpful. So I think at the end of the day, one, you got to learn to love yourself. You got to learn to love who you are and the gifts you bring to the world, regardless of the package it's in. And two, I think we need to make a commitment to do our best in the moment, in the circumstances that we're given, right? But I know you have 7 steps or maybe 6, I don't know how many, to a healthier you. I know that you have some tips that you can provide to us. So share with us some of the things we can be doing to get to that healthier place, not perfection, healthier.
So, one,
Mhm.
treat your body well. Every morning you wake up in the morning, you can actually say, thank you, body, for getting me out of bed, right? It's giving that gratitude to not only who you believe in, but also who believes in you. Does that make sense?
Yes, that is profound.
Right? Give
Yeah.
thanks, because that's the relationship. That's the relationship. And it's establishing that relationship. Do you have a relationship with yourself?
Mhm.
Are you willing to create one? So you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to be grateful for your body. What's to help stimulate the system? Get something warm to drink.
Mhm.
That could just be warm water itself. It could be with a little bit of lemon, a little bit of honey, whatever it is. There's lots of different, look it up, warm drink to stimulate this, Google it. I mean,
Yes, yes.
do that to find out what works for you. One day I'll be able to have the page that has all of this stuff on
All
it.
of them.
You know, get that little bit of exercise.
Yeah.
It's really important. You know, if you can, every single day, every single meal, or at least one, start with one, maybe go to 2 or 3, have fruits or a vegetable with every meal.
Yes.
Fruits or vegetables with every meal. That is your fiber, right? So we
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're putting fiber in our bodies. Fiber is great in your body. Then you want to make sure you have your healthy fats, because
Mhm.
fat doesn't make you fat. Carbohydrates do. Okay.
Right.
So fat doesn't make you fat, and you want to have that healthy protein. Okay. Our bodies thrive off of those things. So you want to make sure that you're getting those in your body daily. When you're
Mhm.
getting those things, those 3 sources in your body daily, it takes away the cravings,
Yes, it really does.
takes away the cravings. Okay. And then making sure you're getting your water, because if you are not getting the water to saturate your body, cut yourself, your blood is very thick. It
Mhm.
shouldn't be. If your blood is thick, that means that it's not going through your veins properly. That means it's not going through your arteries properly. That causes disease. And if you're not flushing out your toxins in your body, it makes room for things that you don't want. So
Right.
get that water in your body. And people will be like, how much? How much? Listen, I always just say start with something. Get
Yeah.
what, if it's the 8 glasses a day, get the 8. If you can't do 8, work your way up to there. And then I can be like, it's supposed to be half your body weight, which is in ounces, right? Half your
Right.
body, divide that, and that's in ounces. But a lot of people, there, especially when you're heavier, like, I can't drink all of that water. Well, are you drinking water at all? Right?
Right.
So it's also getting that in. So, and then also listening to yourselves, because what we do is we eat for emotions more than eat for nutrients.
Right. Guilty.
When you're choosing your food, is there any nutrients in there or is it all emotions?
Mhm.
Now, if you can find a way to kind of balance that for a little bit until it gets better, because again, it's not perfection. So I'm looking at my plate. Oh no, guy, none of this is nutrient. Can you find at least one thing? Okay, I'm going to put a broccoli on there. All right, let's start with that. So it's just finding, it's not the all or nothing. It's
Right.
finding little things. The workouts, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Put on 2 songs, dance, right? Again, good endorphins. You want to make sure. Get your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Off your device an hour, 2 hours before you go to bed. You are not a god. The world will not crash because you're not close to your phone. You will survive, and so will the others around you. We live off of guilt. Because we live off of guilt, we cannot separate ourselves from the social world that we have been put into. Because
Right.
of that, our heart rates, our bodies are tense. Everything is tense within us. We need to learn to breathe. It's so simple, but it's not simple because a lot of us don't know how to breathe. A lot of us take shallow breaths. You don't even realize if I say breathe into the count of 8, some people can't even get the breath all the way in because they're so tight. Can you breathe in for the count of 8, hold it for a count of 8, and then let it go for a count of 8? You're going to find your shoulders are going to fall down after a minute. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, my shoulders were up here. Do that 3 times, all of a sudden your shoulders are down here like, wait a minute, I didn't even realize they were here, right?
That's right.
So it's just the small little tiny things. I mean, there's a plethora of things, but get your sleep, get your relaxation, get your movement. We were created to move. We were created to have breath. We were created not to worry. You can't
Mm-hmm.
do anything in life by worrying, right? But it's the freedom of appreciating yourself. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's what it's about. That's why I said health is for everybody. It looks different to everybody, but it is for everybody. And even if you don't have the plethora, if you can't afford somebody like Hope, although I do things off to the side, so
Yeah,
uh,
man.
but even if you can't afford going to somebody,
Mhm.
you can afford to treat yourself.
Yes.
And there's a lot of information out there. And that's another thing as well, because there's so much information out there. Everybody shuts down. There's just too much. I can't
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. So then you don't do anything. Well,
Yep.
again,
That's me.
that's the all or nothing approach though, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't find anything, so I'm not going to do anything. Well, is that benefiting you? No. So do something.
Yeah.
Start with one thing. That's my 7 steps, right? It's like start with one thing. Even if that one thing takes you a year, at
Right.
least you have one thing down pack.
Yeah.
And if you can go from that one thing to 2 things, even if that takes you another year, at least now you have 2 healthy habits.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go to 3? Even if, listen, 5 years later, you still won't be the same. You'll be
Yeah.
amazingly different. And so it's just creating the small little habits that will take you through a lifetime. Years ago, I'm allergic to a lot of things, unfortunately.
Okay.
So because I'm allergic to a lot of things, vegetarianism, because I'm allergic to fish, I'm allergic to a lot of fruits, right? I'm allergic to some vegetables. Those are the things that I'm supposed to be eating all the time. So
All the
my
time.
was like, I can't eat those things. So, guys, I have to depend on carbs. I don't care what you guys say. This is the way it is. But was it making me feel good? No.
Mhm.
Hope, all or nothing approach. Okay, you can't have fish. All right. But are there healthy fats out there? Yes. Are there other fruits out there besides the ones you can't eat? Yes. Are
Mhm.
there vegetables out there outside the ones you can't eat? Yes. Can you integrate those into your life? I don't wanna,
Yeah.
right?
That's it, right? It's not that you can't. Like, I don't wanna.
Right. And then it was almost like, again, just try it. Right. And then I tried it. I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's again, it's the all or nothing. It's the how can I navigate the space to help me
Mm-hmm.
so that
Yeah.
I can put on my oxygen mask first before I help anybody else? I help others, but I make sure I get my massages now. I make sure I get my adjustments. I
Mhm.
make sure I take time out for myself. I actually turn off my phone. I have to
No way.
remember to turn it back on. There's times when I'm like, I have it on do not disturb for so long. People are calling me. I'm like, whoops, sorry. Right. But it's what I need to decompress.
Yeah.
It's what I need to be able to be good to you, right? I need to go on a vacation at least once a year in order for me to be the happy me. There's certain
Absolutely.
things that I've learned. I took a time where I learned to knit. Why? Just because I was like, let me find something that works for me. I took a time and I went to swimming lessons. I don't think I'm
Mm-hmm.
the best I can, but at least I could still survive. But the little tiny things that you do to find and explore what works for you, what
Yeah.
makes you smile. You don't always have to be taking care of everybody else because guess what? When you're gone, they'll adjust and
Trust
the
me.
world will keep going,
Yeah.
right? But I know I want to live. And as long as I can live, I want to make an imprint.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm fortunate enough to for me to be around tomorrow, then I'm glad to be around tomorrow and I will serve tomorrow, right? But
Yes.
for today, I'm going to do the things that I need to do today in order for my life and my family's life to be well. So, one of the things that we also need to learn is to say no. And it's
Yes, please.
okay. The world will not break down, neither will you. But also with saying no, we need to learn not to ruminate on that no. Ruminating means talking about it over and over and over again in your own head, right? I can't believe I said no. Maybe they're going to hate me. Maybe this and this isn't going to happen. Maybe they'll never ask me again. Da, da, da. No, it's a full period stop. There's no questions about it. God said it. And so we can say it too.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a full stop period, no explanation. You do not have to explain. If you want to,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps you as opposed to justifying you.
Correct. Correct. 100. There's so much that you laid out for us here. It's powerful, it's deep, and it kind of leans into when I was writing my book, because I've, as a wealth coach and someone who has a rooting in a Christian belief, money
Oh,
and let's see, there we go. Uh, Money and what is said to be Christian doesn't always align. So, one of the things that was kind of at odds for me was I know that I can be wealthy, but I also want to be good. So, when I was writing my book, I did some research. And what I found was the origin word for the word that we use today, wealth, is actually WEAL, which means wellness. It actually has nothing to do with money. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. It has little to do with the numbers that we attribute to wealth today. Wealth is being well. And that means all aspects of our lives need to be well so that we can experience wealth. So when you say that health is wealth, I say yes, because one does not exist without the other. If our relationships are messed up, we are not well. If our minds are not at peace or in balance and in sync with our needs and our abilities to serve, we're not well. If our bodies are lacking, are not being, if we're not being good and kind to our bodies, we are not well. So, health is wealth. And it's part of that full circle wellness experience. But unfortunately, like you shared before, people have it flipped the other way. When you have money, you can spend money to be well. And that, unfortunately, is the result of our capitalist society. How would you how would you inspire someone who may not have the money, let's say, like you said, they may not be able to afford your program? What is one thing that they could do today that if they do it and they commit to it, they will become weller, better, stronger? What is one thing that our listeners can do that'll help their health become their wealth?
Every single program, every single health program in the world
Mhm.
thrives on one thing: vegetables.
Yes.
Every single program in the world thrives off of vegetables.
Amazing.
Become well, eat your veggies. It's crazy, but it's not. What's the one thing from the beginning of time till now that exists?
Yeah.
Vegetables
Vegetables.
and vegetables. It doesn't get old. It doesn't matter how many years have passed. It has always been a staple.
Mhm.
The further we've gone away from that theory, the worse mankind has become.
Wow. Eat your vegetables. To up to a day like today, the best advice for our health is eat your vegetables. And to be honest, I have to agree. Like, I saw the results of eating my vegetables. And let me just throw in here, I have been, I'm not vegetarian, but I don't like meat. So I have been doing the vegetarian thing for a long time, and never have I gotten these results because all of the vegetarian things came out of a can, was somewhere in somebody's fridge, was using products that to mimic meat, and they might have started with a vegetable, but by the time they finish, don't smell like a vegetable, don't look like a vegetable, it don't quack like no vegetable. So, believe it or not, eat your vegetables while they're still vegetables is fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's simple, but not simple, because it's one thing that can change your life, but it's the one thing that has the worst. What am I looking for?
I guess
What's
it,
the
it has a bad rap.
bad rep? It's the
Yeah.
one thing that has the worst rep,
Mhm.
right? To say to somebody, eat vegetables first thing in the morning. You want me to eat vegetables first thing in the morning? Do you know that if you were to have your vegetables first thing in the morning, you are getting so much nutrients into your body that your brain will explode with happiness, and that your body will move in a way that it's never moved before. And you'll be like, the only thing that changed in my life was I had vegetables. I
Yeah,
had
for real.
a gentleman, he was like, he said, I hate vegetables, but I'm willing to do what you said. This is exactly how he said to me. I'm willing to do what you said. So I just make a shake in the morning with my
Mhm.
vegetables in it. I hate it, but I drink it. I'm like, okay. Then it's like 6 months down the line. Yo, since I've done that, I've lost 30 pounds. I'm like, do you have to say it like that? Like,
No.
can you be happy about it? No, because I hate it. But I gave up bread, and now I do that in the morning instead. And I'm
Mhm.
like, so you're 30 pounds lighter? Yeah. Can you be happy about that? Well, I'll just say thank you.
Talk about a reluctant witness. Oh
I'll
my
take it.
goodness.
I'll take it. But right, didn't change anything else. Doesn't
Right.
exercise, which I wish they did, and we talk about that on a regular basis. But that was the one thing that they changed. They did the shake in the morning with the vegetables, and they didn't change anything else. But they lost 30 pounds in 6 months, right?
Amazing.
So you look at those things and you're like, it can't be that simple. Well, try it. Prove it
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
Prove it wrong. Don't prove me wrong.
Mhm.
Prove it wrong.
Yeah. Because I would be the one who would have said, it can't be that because I ate more food, more food on this plan than I've eaten before. I literally was saying, I don't know how to get another meal in. And I ate a larger variety of food too, because I found proteins that was not processed that I could do myself and enjoy it because I get to flavor my food. I get to season it. I get to make my food tasty. None of this bland thing, like, no. And the results kind of help to reinforce. Remember, I think earlier we were talking, I said, even in your skepticism, you have to have that little kernel, that little grain of belief and hope. As you're trusting the process, the grain becomes bigger and it starts to blossom. And you're like, oh my goodness, how is this happening? I don't know, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it and more and more. And it started a feedback loop for me that was now positive because before my feedback loop was, I'm going to do this, I'm going to follow all the rules, and it's not going to work. I'm doing it, it's not working, doing it some more, still not working, forget about it. In this case, I started writing new code for my brain. And now the code was, I'm doing this. Oh my God, it's working. Oh my God, it's working. I'm doing it. Oh my goodness, it's still working. Ay, 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 it's working. And it was phenomenal. I'm saying all this not so much that it was just about me, but I want to inspire those who are listening to this and considering improving their wealth, their wellness, to think and do something different, to challenge what you have seen before, what you've heard before. If it has not worked for you before, that does not mean that there's nothing else that can help. Find the thing that's going to work for you. And Hope Felix is a great place to start. So, Hope, you need to tell people where to find you because I know they're going to need to hunt you down after we're done here. Where can they find you in the interwebs and digital spaces?
So I have a website and it is hifitnessandwellness.ca.
All
So
right.
hifitnessandwellness. Sorry, not .ca.com. My old one was .ca. My new one,
Okay.
hifitnessandwellness.com.
There you go. HI stands for Hope Inspired. So hifitnessandwellness.com. Check out everything that she's doing on there. And I know that you are starting another Unstoppable 42. You have it offered, not all the time. Well, let me say this. You have it offered, you can do it one-on-one, right? Or you can do it in a group setting. So make sure you find out when another group is starting, or if you are ready now, do it now and call her, get in touch, email, find her on Insta, jump into her DMs, figure out how you can create more wealth for yourself. Hope, I am so happy. I am thrilled. Is there anything I missed? Anything you want to share with the audience that we didn't get to touch on before we wrap this up?
So my Instagram is Hope inspired underscore fit. What I
Okay,
can do is I'll send you my handles and then you can put it in.
sure.
But I do individuals, I do groups. I definitely want to start getting into the workplace because I do believe that that's something that we should be doing.
Yeah.
I do breath work.
Yes.
It's a whole body. That's why it's a body work specialist, because I do fascial release, which is de-stressing the body. Uh,
Mhm.
Somatic therapy is what I'll be getting into. So if you have trauma, if you're overstressed, high stress, anxiety, those are the things that I'm going to be specializing in. Also, in regards to moving past having experience of losing a loved one, those things are important. And again, we hold those things in our body,
Yeah.
and then they create havoc within the body and havoc within our mind. So just knowing that there's somebody that is willing to be your cheerleader and your safe space. Not everybody changes their body at the same rate.
Mhm.
You can do it and you will do it, not because you have to, but because you want to. And
Yes.
um, we all want health. We all want to live well. So I really appreciate you. I appreciate the time that you've spent with me. I appreciate you trusting me on this journey.
Yeah.
Next journey will be, I think, January the 12th is what I'm looking. So if anybody wants to join Unstoppable 42, and the 42 is 42 days. You're
Right.
committing to 42 days where you're going to concentrate on yourself. And yes, your family's going to be there. And yes, you're going to have everything else happening at the same time, but you can do it. And January is a great start.
Yeah.
Take off everything that we just did for Christmas and holidays and be able to be like, I want to look snatched. This is what the young people say now. I want to look snatched, and be able to do that. And, there's no barriers on the age. You just join.
Mhm.
It helps regulate hormones.
Yes.
It helps take off excess off of the waistline.
Yeah.
You can lose up to 10% of your body fat. And you look great on the scale. And the one benefit, tell me if this is true or not,
Okay.
that stomach weight
Oh yeah.
starts to disappear. And a lot of people always, I want the belly to go. I got something for you that will let the belly go. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
It's true. It's really true. It's like, interesting.
you lose inches off the waist. And a lot of people are like, I can't do that. In our last round, we just did, we started off with 24 individuals, lost a few along the way because again, it's the choice, right?
Yes.
But we finished with 15 individuals. We finished with 15 individuals who lost a total of 186 pounds between 15 individuals, right?
Yes.
We had a diversity of different scales. Some lost a little bit less than others. I think the biggest loser was 10% of her body fat,
Mhm.
which equaled up to 19.2 pounds. But our biggest weight loss loser was 23, uh,
Amazing.
9.08% of her body fat, right? And I have so many individuals are like, I'm going to keep this. This is a lifestyle change. It's not
I
an
agree.
fix. You gotta, like, how it took you to get here, you gotta still do the principles of it, but now you have that template. So
Yeah.
even if you go off course, you know how to get back on course. And that is what I'm teaching. It's all, you're not buying any products, you're not buying no shake, you're not buying no this or that. It's all natural products.
Yeah.
Do you have to get rid of meat? No.
No.
You eat meat. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that it just, the combination of the whole package
Yeah.
is what makes it work. Again, it's not an all or nothing approach, but the more you follow the script, the better your results.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. I can't say enough. And I will, like, it's a life principle for me at this point. I will enjoy, you know what? I don't even call them treats anymore because they just don't hit the same this point. But if there's something I see and I want, I will have it. It's not that I will restrict myself, but now I also know what it would do in my body, and I don't necessarily want that result. So it's not really a treat. That's why the mind and the body have to connect, right? So Hope, keep on doing all the great things you're doing. I am a fan for life of not, well, I don't do the idol worship thing because you're as human as I am, but the spirit of your service just keeps inspiring me to keep serving. And knowing what you're teaching, all the things that your clients learn, all the ways that we learn to love ourselves and refine ourselves and better ourselves, we get to pass that on to the people that we touch. I mean, talk about a legacy of hope and inspiration. It is quite a ripple effect. And I'm hoping that once anyone who views this segment, you have to go check this out. If it's not for yourself, for that person in your life you love who might not be hearing you anymore, but they need that support. Get out there and check out Hope Inspired Fitness. Hope, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll be seeing you guys on the next episode of Catalyst Conversations. Take care. Thank you for joining me today on Catalyst Conversations. I hope this episode sparked something powerful to help on your journey to building wealth confidently and unapologetically. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep moving toward your goals, stay empowered, and continue sparking change on your wealth journey. This is Hadriana, and you've been listening to Catalyst Conversations.